Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. And this time, I think I have to wake up Rog again because he is not here. Let's go ahead and do that again on this Tuesday morning, March 7th, 2023.
Hello.
Fine.
Hey, I just think I'm headphones on.
Stop being blind here. Okay, there we go. That's why I couldn't hear you.
Hello.
Good morning.
We show up the trains. We got trains.
I just woke up. I just woke up.
Oh, here we are.
We're here. We're doing the news. Okay, I've got my 3 stories. So, today on Before Coffee, the EU creates a blacklist of perpetrators of sexual violence against women.
Man accused of trying to open a jet's door, attacking crew.
Aid organizations fear cholera outbreaks in the Northern Syria earthquake zone.
Biden will buck tradition and unveil budget in Pennsylvania.
France braces itself for a new pension protest after a restless night.
And a fiery tanker crash kills driver and burns Maryland homes. Today on the March 7th edition of Before Coffee.
All right. Let's start off with our news story. For the first time, the European Union is imposing sanctions against perpetrators of sexual violence against women. Individuals and organizations that exclude women will also be tackled. At the initiative of the Netherlands, 9 people and 3 institutions from Afghanistan, Iran, Russia, the occupied part of Ukraine, Myanmar, South Sudan, and Syria are now on the blacklist. They can no longer access bank accounts in the EU or are no longer allowed to travel in countries with the EU. It has also prohibited within the EU to do business with them. The reason is the stories about rape and other forms of sexual violence in war zones such as Ukraine and South Sudan, but also, for example, the systematic violation of women's rights in countries such as Afghanistan and Iran. With these sanctions, we are sending a clear signal to those guilty of sexual violence that they cannot get away with it, said Minister Hoekstra of the Foreign Affairs. These horrific and degrading actions have consequences. We also send a signal to the victims. As the EU, we stand by these people, wherever they are in the world. The European sanctions package is being adopted today in the run-up to the International Women's Day on March 8th. The names on the list have not yet been announced. There you go. That's it. Short and sweet.
And American sporting news. Man accused of trying to open jet's door, attacking crew. This is from AP, and this is Boston. Byline. A Massachusetts man tried to open a airliner's emergency door in a cross-country flight from Los Angeles to Boston and tried to stab a flight attendant in the neck with a broken metal spoon, federal prosecutors alleged Monday. Francisco Severo Torres, 33 of Leomeister, I guess that's in Massachusetts, was tackled and restrained with the aid of passengers and arrested Sunday at Boston Logan International Airport when United Airlines Flight 2609 landed, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Boston said in a statement. He was charged with interference and attempted interference with flight crew members and attendants using a dangerous weapon, the statement added. The man was detained in an initial appearance in federal court Monday and awaits a Hearing Thursday. A hearing scheduled for Thursday. Thursday. What kind of word is that? An email seeking comment was left with his federal public defender. The plane was about 45 minutes from arrival in Boston when the crew received an alarm that the side door of the aircraft was disarmed. The flight attendant noticed the door locking handle had been moved out of the fully locked position, is about a quarter of the way towards the unlocked position, and the emergency slide arming lever had been moved to the disarmed position. Authorities said the crew secured the door and slide. A door in an airplane cannot be opened during a flight due to cabin pressure. Completely impossible to open that door. Another flight attendant had noticed that Torres was seen near the door and believed that he tampered with it. The crew told the captain that he was a threat and the plane should be landed as soon as possible. At that point, prosecutors alleged Torres got out of his seat, approached two flight attendants standing in the aisle, used a spoon to make stabbing motions, hitting a flight attendant 3 times in the neck area. Passengers tackled Torres, who was restrained with the assistance of the crew. According to the charging document, Torres told investigators that he went into the airplane's bathroom and broke a spoon in half to make a weapon. Broke a spoon in half? How strong are you? When he came out of the bathroom, Torres said that he went into the galley, disarmed the door, and tried to open it unsuccessfully with the idea of jumping on the plane, according to the document. Investigators said Torres admitted knowing that if he opened the door, many people would die. Torres also said that he was confronted by flight attendants in an attempt to defend himself, stabbed one of the attendants in the neck 3 or 4 times, according to investigators. They added Torres said he believed the flight attendant was trying to kill him, so he was trying to kill Lieutenant Flynn. Okay, here's what he thinks. Thanks to the quick action of the crew and customers, one customer was restrained after becoming a security concern. One passenger told investigators that Torres had asked where the safety card where on the safety card it showed the door handle was located during the flight attendant's pre-take safety briefing. If convicted, he could face life in prison. So, little fun on United Airlines flight to Boston with a lunatic. I don't know what they mean by breaking a spoon in half. Plastic spoon in half?
I think they just snapped the spoon part off so that it was pointy like a shank. So I guess that's what they mean.
I guess you can keep bending a spoon eventually until it breaks. I have no idea what they mean by that. Yeah, it's just like you could threaten somebody with anything for that matter. Okay, so just more normal lunacy in the skies over America. Your turn.
All right. When it comes to the aftermath of the Syrian and Turkey earthquake, the Dutch aid organization Doctors van de Wereld and the Red Cross fear a major cholera outbreak in the earthquake zone in Northern Syria. Millions of displaced people in the area, and the number has grown due to the earthquakes. Director of Doctors van de Wereld, Jasper Kuipers, says that at least 600 cases of illness have already been diagnosed, but there are probably many more. 2 cholera patients have died. We're only seeing the tip of the iceberg. The earthquakes have broken drinking water supplies and sewers. The Euphrates River is also heavily polluted. About 4 million displaced people live in the area. There are not only earthquake victims, but also people who have previously fled because of civil war that has been raging in Syria since 2011. Because of the years of conflict, a poor economic situation, and the earthquake, only 50% of water and sanitation systems in Syria are still working properly. For comparison, before 2010, this percentage was between 92% in rural areas and 98% in cities. Aid organizations Doctors of the World says cholera has been raging in the area since August last year, and that the situation has been made worse by the earthquake in early February. In several places, hundreds of refugees have to share a few toilets with each other. The Red Cross writes, because the toilets become less clean due to frequent use, the risk of spreading disease increases. That's it. They're gonna have to start handing out chores. It's your turn to clean the toilet. Do you want cholera? No. Clean the toilet. Cholera is a treatable disease as long as it's diagnosed in time. There are also vaccines against it, but in the event of an outbreak, vaccination is no longer useful. Then patients need to be treated. One way to prevent the spread of cholera is to improve hygiene in the refugee camps. That's what I'm saying. Do your chores, clean the toilet.
Yeah. That old Dark Ages disease is making a comeback.
Yep.
And U.S. domestic politics news. Biden will unveil budget in Pennsylvania. Washington AP. With an eye on 2024, President Joe Biden will showcase his election year budget plan this week in must-win Pennsylvania rather than the usual White House setting. This is from Josh Bulk, AP. Biden's trip to Philadelphia on Thursday is a sign that the president's budget proposal is part of a bigger political push to connect with voters. He is telling them that taxes on wealthy can reduce federal deficits and spare cuts to popular programs such as Social Security and Medicare. The White House budget plan be a what-if document aimed at telling voters that the federal government can do what the federal government can do if the Democrats are solidly control the White House and Congress. Right now, the Republicans control the majority of the House. Opposes most of any ideas or an actual idea of any kind. The president's hinted in Monday's speech that tax increases and the wealthy will be at the core of his budget plan, declaring that one provision will target billionaires. This is partly written. Addressing a firefighters group as representative of everyday working Americans, he said, much of what we're doing about your right to be treated fairly with dignity and respect. Part of that is making tax system that is fair. We can make all the improvements and still cut the deficit, and we start making people pay their fair share. And by people, he means the people who don't pay any taxes. Democrats and Republicans are jockeying how to show the public which party is most fiscally responsible. I don't know where that headline comes from, but that's purely editorial. Republicans are trying to be fiscally responsible. No, they're trying to shut down the frickin' economy. That's what they're trying to do. I'm not exactly sure what that even means, that sentence. So I'm going to stop reading this story because I think it's biased.
Okay.
Because that's a complete lie. Or
are you biased? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm biased because that sentence is a complete lie. Here's what the Republicans are actually doing right now. They're threatening the debt ceiling, which is a nonpartisan issue 100% of the time. In fact, we already exceeded the deadline for the debt ceiling to be raised.
Yeah.
Right now, it's been accounting tricks by the Department of Treasury. So saying that they're fiscally responsible is absurd. They want cuts in Social Security. That's not fiscally responsible. Social Security adds nothing to the deficit, adds zero to the deficit. The Social Security Trust Fund is a completely independent trust fund separate from the budget. It's not part of the budget. They don't even need to put it in the budget. They do it as an accounting trick. They need to stop telling you that Social Security is costing us money. It isn't. It is a pay-as-you-go plan. You pay today for the people that are collecting today. That's the way it was. It doesn't go, hey, it does go in a savings account, but it isn't something you're going to get tomorrow. But they're going to con people into thinking that it's a ripoff. That's what they're going to do. They're going to steal it, and they're going to get to their rich buddies. That's their plan. I don't know why they act like they're being fiscally responsible. They've never been fiscally responsible before in the history of that party.
Yeah.
That's the truth. That's the truth. They'd explode the deficit every time they get in charge. That's the truth. Your story.
All right. Speaking of pensions and Social Security, after a restless night, the French will take the streets again on Tuesday to protest against the government pension plan. If you remember, we reported on this a couple weeks back. France wants to raise the retirement age from 62 to 64, in which French people have a very strong attachment to because they believe as one of the only European countries with such a low retirement age that's part of their culture to go to retire earlier than everyone else. And they think it's an attack on their way of life for increasing the age, and also influences the spread of capitalism because now we're gonna be slave to the grind 2 more years longer than usual.
Yeah.
Lots of reason for them to protest. All refineries in the country were shut down on Tuesday morning due to strikes, from the trade union CGT reports. Today, France is shut down, says a spokesman for the left radical trade union. Shutting down the refineries is just one of the actions against the pension plans. A total of 320 actions have been announced throughout the country. In some French cities, it has already hit last night. Students in Rennes blocked roads last night by erecting barricades and setting fires. In Paris, police used tear gas to disperse groups of demonstrators. Tuesday is the 6th major day of protest since January 19th, when demonstrators against the proposed pension reforms of President Emmanuel Macron's government began. Trade unions have organized strikes in rail transport and air traffic, among other things. They also call on the population to take to the streets en masse. It is not the first time the protest has made against this plan. At the end of January, nearly 1.3 million French people protested against the pension reforms. Police expect 1 to 1.1 to 1.4 million people to take to the streets on Tuesday. President Macron considers the reforms necessary because of the growing number of pensioners who are also living longer on average than before. French governments have struggled for decades with pension reform and mass protests against their plans. It is not possible to change the expensive, complicated system, which is built up per occupational group. Macron has let an earlier reform plan disappear into a drawer, mainly because of fear protests in 2020. An additional problem is that the government no longer has majority in parliament. I think using the phrase, "oh, people are living longer, so let's increase the age," is bullshit.
Yeah,
and it's
absolutely.
an easy argument to make, right? Well, other people have used the same reasoning to increase their pension age. It's like, so you just want people to struggle longer, right?
Yeah,
just let people retire at 62. People's bodies are already breaking down at like 50. Come on, just leave them alone. Let them stop working.
Well,
no, but we can make more money
if
if we make 5 million more people work for 2 more years. Okay.
Yeah. That's the capitalism slippery slope.
Yep.
What they call the slippery slope is the other direction. It's like, we got the slippery slope of communism coming in. But the actual slippery slope they have is where they just keep pushing their retirement age farther and farther into the future. Wait, what about our profits?
Yeah. They didn't exist before. They're not going to exist if you don't do it again. Like, you're not losing anything, you're only gaining things.
What? Sorry, I talked over you.
Oh, I'm just saying, when you increase the pension age, the people who are working are losing. The people who are getting money or exploiting those workers are winning, and that's the only difference.
And the people that are working are losing. The people that are thinking about retiring are losing. The banks are winning. Everybody gets to keep their money longer.
Yeah, people who already have money get more money, and the people who don't have money lose everything.
If I have $1 million, right, at 1% interest, one day is a lot of money.
Yeah.
To most people, not to me. I'm a billionaire. But, yeah. Again, rich people have all the money, so they act like money's the most important thing, and then they tell poor people that money doesn't make them happy. See, I'm not happy. I'm a millionaire. I'm not happy at all. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Who gives a shit if you're happy? Nobody fucking cares if you're happy. Happy, miserable, we're not even concerned about it.
Yeah, because everyone's miserable and unhappy, so we all share that.
Care if you're happy. If you're unhappy, in fact, if you're unhappy, we're fucking ecstatic. Anyway. Fiery tanker crash kills driver, burns Maryland homes. In transportation news not involving trains and hazardous goods. A tanker truck hauling a flammable liquor crashed on Maryland highway Saturday and caught fire, killing a driver and damaging several homes and vehicles. A truck crash around noon in US 15 in Frederick, about an hour's drive west of Baltimore. Photos showed massive flames and billowing smoke. Fire crews arrived within minutes of receiving several emergency calls and found the truck completely engulfed in a fire that also spread to 3 homes and automobiles. Frederick Fire Chief Tom Coe said in news conference. One of those homes was extensively damaged, displacing the residents. The two other sustained minor damage. The tanker driver, who was not immediately identified, died, but no other injured were reported. The authorities said the exact chain of events that led to the crash is under investigation. Officials are also working to determine exactly what substance the tanker was hauling, although Cole said it was believed to be commonly transported flammable liquid like gasoline or diesel fuel.
Whoops.
that poses no threat to the general public. That's right.
Oh, right.
Billowing fires of diesel fuel and gasoline are no threat to the general public. Go on home, everybody. Breathe them toxic fumes. I don't even know what that sentence even means. No threat to the general public. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Crews will be monitoring air quality in an isolated area. Saturated soil for cleanup. And officials said there's no breach of the city's sewer system or nearby creek. Well, again, here we are. We're getting responses now. I think that train crash in Ohio has triggered a more complete response of, oh, don't worry, go back in your homes. There's no harm. Right? But that's the story. There ain't much to report other than the man who was in it the worst is already dead, so... No name. His family probably hasn't been notified. It's a hard job. Probably doesn't pay that well. Probably long. I'm not going to speculate on the cause, but there you are. It's dangerous out there. Be safe.
All right. In media news, let's talk about the Chris Rock Will Smith slap. The American comedian Chris Rock has finally released his Netflix special, Selective Outrage, which aired live on Sunday night. Rock says he's dealing with it. People still ask if it hurt. It still hurts. I'm still hearing Summertime in my ears, referring to Will Smith's song that he had in a worldwide hit as a rapper. I was beaten by this son of a bitch. At the Oscars last year, host Rock made a joke about Will Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, who suffers from alopecia, an autoimmune disease which causes her hair to fall out. Rock said that with her bald head, she was ready for the sequel to G.I. Jane. At this, Smith walked on stage and slapped the comedian in the face. Rock remained on stage in shock. He said of the blow yesterday, Will Smith is considerably taller than me. We are not the same size. The comedian said he didn't return the hit because of his parents. Because I was raised. And you know what my parents taught me? Don't fight in front of white people. Which is true. That's the whole reason this is even a big deal. You let the white people see you guys have a tiff. That's not allowed. White people don't like being uncomfortable. They don't like knowing that, hey, you can't say that. They like passive-aggressive sneers. Hey, you talked bad about my wife, and that's about it. That's all that's allowed in front of white people. If you do anything close to physical violence, the children! Save the children!
They're at it again. They are at it again.
Yeah, right. Those people can't control themselves. Us white people are perfect. According to him, the joke he made about Smith's wife is sensitive because she admitted to cheating during an interview with her husband. Of that interview, Rock said yesterday, none of us have ever been interviewed on television by the person who cheated on us. She hurt him a lot more than he hurt me. Oh yeah, I hate this as well. Obviously, they're in the open relationship, but Hollywood also can't handle the idea of an open relationship. So instead of saying that, everyone's doing Chinese whispers and going, she cheated on him. Yeah, he's such a hurt boy and he's stuck in the marriage because of loyalty. And I'm like, why do we give a shit about what rich people in Hollywood are doing? Let them smack each other on stage and, bring out the popcorn. Why are we making it into a moral and ethical situation, right?
Well, it made Chris Rock money. Think about it that way.
Yeah.
He's making a Netflix special that everybody's talking about. Yeah. So there you go. What's he got? Fame feeds fame. Even infamy is fame.
Yeah.
So, I watched the special. I watched the whole thing last night. It was fair. It was fair. It was probably a little long, but sometimes you got to set up jokes for a long time.
Yeah.
There was that one joke that he set up for a long time. It was more about telling the audience about how his mom was raised and how he raised his kids, but this was a long joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was different. It had nothing. Most of the concert, nothing to do with Will Smith. Will Smith is at the very end. All right,
Wait, I'm not done yet.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to say, Rock said that he's not a victim, and you'll never see him on Oprah or Gail. Never gonna happen. I took the punch, or took the slap like a boxer, like the boxer Manny Pacquiao. Look at all these old '90s references that only boomers will get. I mean, I get it barely.
Manny Pacquiao was the 2010.
Yeah.
2010s. Yeah. So no, it ain't that old.
Will Smith apologized to Chris Rock a few months ago. Violence in all forms is toxic and destructive, the 53-year-old actor wrote on Instagram. I'd like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. I behaved inappropriately and I was wrong. I'm ashamed. The Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences, the organization for the Oscars, has decided that Will Smith will no longer be allowed to attend the Oscars for 10 years. Also, he's not allowed to go to any other Academy event because he slapped a guy live on television, and more people talked about the Oscars in 10 years than ever before. That's your reward, Will Smith. You get banned. I hope nobody watches the Oscars because they don't deserve the views.
Hitting people, man. You can't be hitting people. That's fucked up. Sorry.
It was a slap.
For any fucking reason. I don't care who the fuck you think you are, Will Smith. Don't hit people. Who the hell do you think you are? First of all, okay, you're defending the open relationship. I get that. Here's the thing. He's playing a victim. Now, you're not a victim, dude. You got a joke told about you. That's all that happened. You got a joke. It had nothing to do with your sex life. He could have made 50 jokes about his sex life. This is what I'm talking about. He made the mildest joke he could have thought at all. He's a comedian and he made a joke. The mildest joke, probably in a list of 10 jokes about Will Smith, but 10 jokes about entanglement jokes, right?
Entanglement, oh yeah.
Yeah, so he told the mildest joke and got slapped. That's what I'm talking about. What? I mean, come on. This dude is cocked.
No, I think it would have been better to joke about that because that was a personal choice that happened. Having an autoimmune disease is not a choice. The difference between choosing to shave your hair for a role and not having a choice because your hair falls out. Which let's remind ourselves that having hair is a huge symbol of feminine energy or whatever, right?
Yeah.
A lot of women who lose their hair have to deal with the consequences of people not treating you like a woman anymore. Oh, you're a man now because you got no hair. So that's
it was
all.
A bad joke.
He even helped write a movie that was about black women's hair. So he should have understood, right? This is my opinion, how important hair is to a black woman, and maybe not make a joke about it. I think it would have been way better to make jokes about the entanglement thing, because that was a choice that they publicly announced happened, right? The alopecia thing is not the alopecia thing is not something you choose to do, right? You didn't choose to get into an entanglement and to lose your hair, so.
You chose to go on TV. I know. But again, here's the thing about jokes. They are funny. Why are jokes funny? Because they shock you. If they didn't shock you, it wouldn't be jokes. If you're just sitting up there going, my favorite color is blue, everybody would go, that's not a joke. They'd be sitting there fucking bored. They want to be insulted. They go to award shows and say, hey, somebody's going to lay one into me tonight. I'm ready for it. No, he went there with a freaking attitude. I'm tired of anybody defending Will Smith. I'm tired of it. He went there with an attitude. Period. Okay. No, he went there because, remember, he was in the Richard Williams movie, and what happened? Right after he got up there and won an award, he started making speeches like he was Richard Williams. You're not Richard Williams. You're not.
I thought we were done talking about this. Still talking about it.
Why do you say you're done? I didn't know there was a limit on this. I'm saying, well, yeah, the joke is offensive, so fucking what? It's a joke.
We got that point. You don't have to repeat it.
Yeah, I just say it. It's the nature of the beast. It's going to be offensive. Get ready. Anyway, this day in history, Marcus Aurelius became Emperor of Rome in 161. So that
Wow, I didn't know
happened.
they had an exact date for that.
Yeah, 161. After basically, he guided the downslide of the Roman Empire, I guess. Massachusetts established the first bicameral legislature in North America in 1644. Bicameral. They had two camels. No, I'm just kidding. Cameral, not camels. Shoot. What else happened today? I was all wrapped up in that one story. Alexander Graham Bell received the patent for the telephone in 1876.
He won the patent race.
Yes, he did. He had his thing on the top. 1987, American boxer Mike Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion to acquire the World Boxing Association belt when he defeated James Smith in 12 rounds. Now, it says he's the youngest champion and does not list his age, which is really, why do you say that? I think he was 21. Might have been younger. Might have been 22. I'm not sure. Didn't say here. American director and writer Stanley Kubrick died in England on this day in 1999. And if you don't know who Stanley Kubrick is, Clockwork Orange, Space Oddity, Dr. Strangelove. What else? What else did Stanley Kubrick make? The Shining. He made The Shining. Okay, there's 4 Stanley Kubrick movies off the top of my head. That's
Okay.
how good he was. That's how famous old Stanley was. 1999. Made a lot of great movies. Anything else? American director Catherine Bigelow became the first woman to win an Academy Award for Best Director for The Hurt Locker in 2008.
Yeah, only took 70 years.
All right, woman director won last year, and
I know.
Not even nominated. Yeah.
I know.
It's birthdays today. Bryan Cranston, Walter White, is born in 1956.
Damn.
In 66. Sir Ralph Fiennes, British actor and writer.
Oh, Ralph Fiennes was Voldemort.
Yep. He is born in 1944.
Damn.
Michael Eisner, American Disney executive, born in 1942. There's got to be more famous people than that.
I know all those people, so.
Oliver Wendell Holmes, born in 1841. He was the American Supreme Court Justice. And that's who was born today, March 7th, in history. And we're about near a half hour of show, are we not?
Yes, we are. I'd like to thank everyone for watching us rant about offensive jokes and, of course, protesting pension age increases for capitalistic exploitation. Hope to see you tomorrow for some more exciting news about what's going on in Europe.
And remember, before Will Smith slapped him, he was laughing at the joke. And have a nice day as we sit there and defend people being offended by everything. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.